EBAN asked me to tell you more about trends in the business angel market and about our cross-border matching experiences. When I go too fast, I get a signal. Okay, thank you. Actually, cross-border investing is one of the relatively new trends in the market I see. And the trends I will mention, I will discuss this morning, are based on information of the EBAN Statistics Companion. The EBAN is the European Business Angel Networks, 2010, and the OECD project, The Role of Angel Investment by Mrs. Karen Wilson. And of course, I'll also refer to my own experiences as a business angel network manager. So let's go further. Let's keep the time. By the way, that person with that face, that's not me, that is the young Rembrandt. And when Rembrandt was a young man, he didn't know he was a master of the future. This, that analogy we transport to our business, early business startups. So, and he looks a bit scared, if you see. And sometimes, when I have an intake with an entrepreneur who's almost bankrupt, I see the same fear in the eyes. But by the way, let's see. First, some history about our network. 10 years ago, almost, I started the Business Angel Network. And the network is focusing on the eastern part of the Netherlands. We have 3 million inhabitants. And I think almost 2 million cows, but that's a different story. We cover the provinces of Gelderland and Overijssel. And as you can see, we are located direct to the German border. Myself, I work for the Economic Development Agency East Netherlands, called East NV. And the shareholders are the provinces of both provinces and the Ministry of Economic Affairs. So they are paying us for our service, business angel service. We work with a team of 3 people, and we have 230 business angels in our network. And yearly we make acquaintance with at least 200 business angels proposals. And at the end, we match between 10 and 15 entrepreneurs with business angels for an amount in totally of 3 million euros. So being a business angel network manager is hard work, and surely nowadays in this economy, but I will tell you more about that later. So central is our focus is the organizing of the deal flow between entrepreneurs and business angels. So we are not involved in actually the deal closing, that's up to the market, but we facilitate that they meet and make acquaintance and etc. Now, to understand the current trends in the business angel market, it is important to give an outline of the position of business angels in the whole capital market. I want to do this with this figure, and it looks a bit like your figure, Peter, but I think it's somewhat easier to understand. Sorry, but it doesn't matter. We see. All those. We see on the horizontal X, we see the growing phase of the company, and on the vertical X, the investing amounts. So we can see here that an early startup is depending on his own money or from family, friends, and fools, as we say. That's the 4 Fs. Actually, there are then 3 Fs, but the 4th I can't place, but it doesn't matter. On the other hand, we see what we call the formal capital from banks, venture capital funds, and IPO. And yes, now we can see the equity gap. The business angel market covers, and okay, I think you know this figure, isn't it? Okay. So, but it's a starting point for the following. Because of the currently bad economic situation in Europe, money, especially loans from banks, are becoming more scarce. So we see a major trend that the early stage companies getting competition in the business angel market from growing companies. Investing in a growing company is less riskful than in a startup. The entrepreneurs have a proven record, there is already a finished product and clients. So why should a business angel then invest in a startup? It's much too riskful. And I will answer it myself. They will invest only when the startup is really interesting, and unfortunately there aren't so much really interesting startups as interesting growing companies. What we further see is the cooperation between business angels in so-called, what we call syndicates, and Peter gave there, I found it a very nice approach and example. But I want to emphasize the whole idea, and it goes as follows. Instead of investing individually in a startup, for example, 200,000 euro, the investor can choose to invest with 3 other business angels for the same amount each, in total 800,000 euro, in a growing company. Then they compete with the venture capitalist market, with less risk compared to startup investing, with more knowledge available from the business angels involved, and hopefully they have also a nice time together. On the other side, we see the trend that for startups, the average amount per investment goes down. So we see, and I can't walk through that. So we see on the upper market the syndication and the business angels going to the growing companies, and on down in the market, we see that there is still a readiness to invest by business angels, but in real lower amounts with milestones. So the message is startup companies have a difficult time nowadays in getting money. So, and that is the reason the Dutch government, but also our local provinces, develop co-investment funds. And the whole idea is that when a business angel wants to invest in a startup, the fund goes with the business angel for the same condition. So that's, I think, also a best practice example for Serbia. So by using the fund, the business angel can reduce the risk to an hopefully acceptable level. But we have to understand the investing in startups is of course very riskful, and when you see the statistics available, you can conclude when an investor invests in 10 startups, 5 or 6 will go bankrupt, 3 or 4 will have a return 2, 3 or the same they invested in, and 1 will be a topper of a big one. So it's quite riskful, and we have to respect the business angels in that. So let's make a short so we can summarize the trend then as follows. Business angel investment is not only startups but also growing companies these days. It is very difficult for startups to find a business angel. And when they find one, it's important to know that they invest in lower amounts. And the syndication of business angels make that they are competing with venture capitalist funds. So, and I mentioned the governmental co-investment facilities for startups is really essential. So later I will talk with you about the next trend, social investing and cross-border investing. But first I want to have with you a closer look at some industry statistics, and I will tell you more about our Dutch experience. Now these are the sectors of investment. The numbers speak for themselves. ICT is still the biggest sector in 1/3 of the deals and 1/3 of the amount investment. When we make a comparison to last year, we see the trend that the clean tech and healthcare medtech are rising and the creative industry is somewhat lowering. But the main trend is what is called social investing. Now, what is social investing? Social investments intended to create positive impact beyond financial return. The whole idea is as follows. When an investment generates a serious positive social and or environmental impact, the involved company solves a real problem, so there will be a big market for it. So when you solve a real problem, there will be a real market for it, and therefore more profits. It turns out that in the United States, 60% of the business angel deals have a social investing impact. And I can advise you to have a closer look on the internet about this theme, and probably you will understand it then better. Okay. A general problem in the business angel market is the lack of data and research, and therefore lack of evidence of the true size and impact of angel investment. Let's see what data the EBAN can offer us. Some industry statistics again. We see the number of business angel networks in Europe still growing, and are in numbers exceeding the United States of America, the business angel market. The estimation is that there are 75,000 business angels in Europe, and they invest for 3.5 billion euro. And the estimation is also that the European angel market is a quarter of the total of the United States angel market. So there's a big growth potential here for Europe. And now the second point, and I think this is also an important point for Serbia. Only 20% of the European business angels are commercial. This means that 80% of the business angels networks in Europe get grants, more or less, from local or national governments. This means that for further development of the Serbian business angel market, support of the government is really essential. Let's have a closer look to the Dutch business angel market, and if we can see that those figures are true. Actually, we see the same in the Netherlands concerning the conclusion that an earning model only based on organizing the deal flow is almost impossible. The network I started 10 years ago, for example, I told you before, is paid by our shareholders, the local provinces and our Dutch government. Other networks in the Netherlands make a combination with other activities, such as a combination as a publisher. There's a business angel network who also produces a magazine for entrepreneurs and investors. Or the combination with a service for clients, for wealthy bank clients. And the whole idea is that that organizing the deal flow by pitching events is interesting for existing wealthy clients, and also potential new clients will join these events and are also reachable for acquisition for the banks focusing on those wealthy clients. So we see this in the Netherlands that 80% of the networks are commercial, but they have the primary focus on the deal flow. So that could be also an earning model in Serbia. We also see the trend in rising numbers of business angel networks in the Netherlands, and a tendency that business angel networks start to specialize in themes to attract specialized entrepreneurs and investors. For example, clean tech, life sciences, and that is that's in the direction of the social investing trend I earlier mentioned, more or less. Now, 10 years ago there were only 3 networks. Now we estimate there are 25 networks in the Netherlands. 12 of them are a member of our Dutch federation, and we see a further grow. Last but not least, the organization asked me to tell about the last trend I want to address, and that is the growth of cross-border investing. We see in the market the rising of a new kind of business angel, a young person in his or her 30s who had some successful exits and are very international orientated in business and personal life. And it's also an opportunity for Serbia, I think. Furthermore, we know that for international orientated companies, it can be very helpful to have a business angel who is not only prepared to provide risk capital, but also knows the local legalities, culture, and the local market. So, for example, a Serbian company who wants to export his high-tech product to the German market, it can be very interesting to have a German business angel involved. So with that, with the trend and the reasons I explained, we started 3 years ago our cross-border cooperation with the Business Angel Agentur Deutschland, the German Business Angel Federation, and once a year our business angels are invited for a cross-border matchings event. We then present Dutch and German propositions, and where entrepreneurs can pitch. Now, via that cooperation, we know our colleagues from our networks in Germany over our border, and we can, via them, help our Dutch entrepreneurs finding a German investor. And Peter also emphasized it, in the business angel market, it's cooperation, 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 but also not in the region, but also internationally. And so I'm very happy that Serbian business angels are now getting member of the EBAN, and we will help you with those contacts. For the EBAN, the Shared Deals Commission, which I'm the chairman of, took the initiative to develop the Shared Deals tool to stimulate cross-border collaboration and cross-border investment. This tool, online tool, allows EBAN members to submit their best deals looking for cross-border funding. Twice a year, the best deals will be showcased at the EBAN Congress and the Winter Academy. And let's have a close look. So you are all invited to put your propositions on this platform and have an outward look on the European business angel market as an entrepreneur. You need an inlog code and the inlog code is provided by the network which is member of the EBAN. So in this case, SBAN will give you then the inlog code, and then you can submit your proposition. That's the red button, and you can fill in the fields, and it speaks for themselves. And then, let's see. As an investor, of course, you can also show the deals, which comes from the EBAN, and it looks like this. So I'm now coming to an end. Practical cooperation, as we do in our cross-border initiative with our German neighbors, as an example, and making use of our contacts via the EBAN and especially the shared deals tool, can be very helpful for you. And I think the best practice of the co-investors fund is also worth to examine by the Serbian government and policy makers. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I gave you some new insights in the business angel market, and I must say I'm looking forward to work together with the SBAN via the EBAN, but also in our local network. Thank you very much. There's time for some questions, or?
Yes, this is a couple of questions I left for you. Didn't want to spend them all with Peter before. A couple of questions. When you invest or when you recommend investment, is it a minority or majority stake you're looking for? First question.
No,
hang on.
Okay, now I will first answer the question, because otherwise I get totally... we, as a business angel network, we don't invest ourselves. So we are, as a region, we are organizing the deal flow, because we see that our entrepreneurs in our region can't find a business angel. So we help them out finding a business angel via our network, and it's up to the investors and the entrepreneurs to make a deal. But what we always say, it's always a minority share. A minority, yes.
And okay. This may apply to expected returns.
The returns?
Yes. What
okay.
are?
That's an interesting question. Now, it is very. The returns has to do with the total package the business angel has, and the total package make a return. I gave you the example of, and it is investigated actually, that when with a portfolio of 10 participations, average the return is between 20 and 25%. But that is average. The investor also tries to get a higher return. An average 5 will go bankrupt more or less. 4 will be return what they put in, and hopefully 2-3 times more. And 1 will be really a winner. And then with that total, you come to an average turnover of 20%, 20-25%.